others celebrate the wins,
Yes.
we celebrate the mud.
each episode has a special guest.
Tony-nominated actress, Broadway's Lily Cooper.
Tashir Zameda.
David A. Gregory.
Getting messy with muddy topics.
We are going to be talking about grief journey.
With hilarious moments
Now get over here.
And deep conversations.
I'm ashamed to even admit this, but this is what happened.
This is Into the Mud.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Into the Mud podcast. While others celebrate the wins,
We celebrate the mud. Can you believe it, Drew?
you did pretty good
I
there.
did good.
You did really good.
I did really good. I'm Alex Kumin, and we're
I'm Drew King.
we're in the library today instead of the lounge.
At the gorgeous Marlin.
Gorgeous Marlin West Village.
We're so excited. We love this space. It's so new and beautiful, and we actually have sunlight.
Stunning.
We're not
Yeah,
in the
natural light
basement. It's so
really
nice.
Makes a
Really
world
gorgeous.
of difference. A world of difference.
Yay. Okay, but today we have a very special guest on the pod. Really, we are both super jazzed to have this conversation because we love talking about sex. So we have the amazing, the incredible Jonah Wheeler,
Hey, y'all.
Yes.
also better known as Showoff Jonah.
Yeah, I guess that's the handle.
That's the handle. That's the handle. Exactly. Jonah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. This is so exciting.
So thrilling.
So Jonah and I don't know each other that well. We're newish friends.
Yeah.
Because we just met at a big gay barbecue in Brooklyn. When
Like
was
a couple
this?
weeks
Couple
ago.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like a month ago at Jeff's barbecue.
Yep.
Yeah. Which was so delightful.
The one-
but
yeah.
Jonah was also already on Dads and Daddies podcast.
Love.
Yes.
Okay. We're
We're poaching guests now. Yeah, exactly.
Our listeners know Dads and Daddies podcast from Judson.
Yes,
from
our
Judson's
episode with Judson Morrow. Yes.
Which was early on in the days of
One of
Into
our
the Mud.
earlier episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, so good. But so thrilled to have you. I don't know.
Super pumped.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little
Let's
bit of
give-
backstory.
yeah, let's
so
give-
a fun fact about Jonah and I is that we both made our Broadway debuts at the same time,
Same
the
season.
same Broadway season.
2015.
2015. So you were music conducting at GG.
Yeah, I was the arranger, understudy conductor. I was down in the pit
Yes.
playing piano, and
Amazing.
you were a few blocks, I guess like 10 blocks south almost.
10 blocks south. Yeah, I was down at the American Airlines Theater doing On the 20th Century as a tap dance in Porta with Christian Chenoweth and Peter Gallagher.
I would have liked to see
no.
that, but
I know, it's in the archives, but yay, Broadway, we did it.
Woohoo!
We did it. And this is going to be a fun conversation because we had a really lovely chat at the barbecue about career transition and pivot. And this podcast is a big part of my career transition, as you know, as we've talked about. And I feel like a big part of your career transition has been transitioning into adult content creation.
Very much so.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are a fabulous, beautiful porn star. Can we say porn star? Do you like that phrase?
I love that phrase.
Okay, so
I
you're
mean,
a porn star.
I like everything you want to call it. I'm
Yes.
not picky about the terminology.
I love it. I fucking love it.
Like, I'm an adult content creator sometimes when I want to feel businessy about it, and I'm a hooker when I want to be vulgar, and like, depends on the
I
day.
want to know everything.
Yeah,
I
we
used
have
to
a
work
million
in sexual
questions.
health education too. So this is like,
Love this.
we're going to be here for hours.
And I have a long childhood history with this. That sounds really dark.
Yeah,
Dude,
questionable.
that's my line.
Sorry. Yeah, you're the one who got HPV at 5, not me.
Yes, bitch.
Wow, this is went really dark. No, my mom used to work for an escort agency in Massachusetts. It was called Temporarily Yours.
Ooh.
Great name.
Incredible.
Really
We're writing a
upfront about
pilot.
the scenario.
We are
My
writing
older
a
brother
pilot
does
about
graphic
it.
design. He designed the website. So yeah, my mom worked for an escort agency. So I guess like sex work has been a part of my upbringing in a sense. You know, as an outsider, you know, my mom would tell us some stories, not explicit stories, but she like shared a lot about her occupation. And my mom was very, very sex positive and was very sex work positive. So like I love and support our sex workers out there, the sex worker community, as long as it's, you know, consensual. And so I'm like so pumped to sit and have this cool chat with you.
We are everywhere.
Yes,
Yes.
I know.
One of the things that has stunned me about doing this is as I, became very public about what I do,
Yeah.
people started coming up to me and being like, I used to escort in my 20s. Oh, like an old friend of mine was like, I sugared my way through college. I've told no one about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I go-goed at some point. I do this on the side. I
Yeah.
paid for college doing this.
Yeah,
So
there
many
should not
people
be
that you
any shame
don't
in it.
know in your life are doing sex work or have.
Completely agree.
Here's for our introduction to you. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into the work and what specifically work looks like for you day to day?
Very much. I am an exhibitionist and a slut. I have always wanted to make pornography. And
I love you.
I'm very open about it. I've always wanted to make pornography. I held off on it for a long time because I knew it would conflict both time-wise and reputation-wise with the Broadway stuff. And I was getting burned out on the Broadway stuff. I was working on a musical about gay pornography.
What musical?
There's a gay porn actor, Hans Berlin, who like made an autobiographical musical that played in L.A. and I think
Is it
a
good?
$3 bill. It's a show, yeah. But coincidentally, we had a production meeting at The Cock, which is a go-go bar in the East Village.
Absolutely, it
At
is.
like 11
Yes,
p.m. on a
it
Friday.
is.
I love it.
And I eventually leave the meeting and go into the flesh pit. And I go home with this adult actor.
Pause. Flesh pit?
Yeah, the downstairs basement level of that bar is
Of the Cock?
Of the Cock.
Of the Cock is a sort of like dark free-for-all of just cram in here and do what you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love
Kind of
this.
like very like European, Berlin, Germany.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those European gay bars also have like what we call quote unquote dark rooms.
Dark.
Where,
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
where
You
some
can just
illicit
go...
behavior happens and people have sex.
And this one isn't so dark that you can't see anything, but it's like a little too crowded and noisy for you to get like names or conversation.
Okay.
I meet some guy, I go home with him, I find out that he's an adult performer, we film some stuff, and he ultimately, when I decide to jump in like a year and a half later, ends up mentoring me a bit. And that's kind of how I find my way in, starting with like fan site content. That's OnlyFans, just for fans, the things you make on your own. And then I picked up both studio porn and escorting from there.
Wow. So there's many branches that you're taking in revenue.
Yeah,
here.
those are my primary branches. There
Okay.
are a lot of different ways one could do sex work. Like camming is a similar kind of video sex work, but it is a thing where you do live shows and you're kind of courting an audience of people online who are tipping you in the moment.
Yes.
Which is sort of like the online version of go-going.
Yeah,
Or like, or a more explicit kind of like the nude go-going that happens at the Cock.
Exactly. So what was the moment that you were like, okay, I'm engaging with this sex work now, that you felt comfortable enough, twofold, that you felt comfortable enough to step away from music directing, music conducting, from arranging financially, but then also that you felt comfortable enough to go public with it and let that be a part of your public persona?
I started sex work in August of 2020, so it's COVID summer.
Wow. Okay.
It's a moment when COVID rates are really low in New York City, so I took a moment to film a whole bunch of stuff so that when they rose again, I would have things to release and not film.
We batch too.
Yeah.
Because with COVID, there was no professional work in the music world to be doing. In the
everything
theater
was shut
world.
down.
So it very quickly became my primary financial work.
Okay.
And I was able to put full-time attention into it because nothing was happening in my regular job. And so it was about a year in that I was aware of like, cool, this is going to work. This is going to be consistent enough to really make it a part of my branding publicly and not have to worry about having to go back to other quote unquote respectable professions.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about respectable versus keep this hush hush because we should be ashamed of this because it's sex and we are ashamed of sex in this country. Do you encounter people who like say things that are disparaging to what you do? I would imagine probably not like in your communities or here in New York. But I guess let me reframe this. What's one thing that you wish more people would understand about sex work?
Ooh, there is a reputation of sex work. There's an idea of sex work that it is tragic. That is a thing that happens at an unfortunate moment in your life, and you're going to look back and regret it, and it comes out of desperation. And that's so often not the case of this.
Yeah.
This is a thing that I'm doing out of like love of the craft, out of self-expression, out of the fact that it's like financially delightful and much more stable than music and theater work.
Certainly.
Oldest profession in the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Sex work is a thing that people do because they love it and they enjoy it and it is functional. Not, some people are doing it for reasons of, oh, this seemed like a way of getting quick cash or I didn't know what else to do. But, there are a lot of career length people who are doing it because it works well for them. And that's what I would love for people to be aware of about sex work.
Yeah, I do think you're right. There is, of course, we know that there is a dark underbelly. There's a dark side of the adult film industry, or maybe not even the film industry, but just in general about sex work, that there are some people who are brought into it without consent. So we do acknowledge that. But I think what you're tapping into is that people only see that side. From the outside looking in, they're like, oh, well, they were kidnapped or they were trafficked in here, they're forced to be doing this, or it's out of desperation, or I think, people don't know that people love to have sex and they love to record it and they love to create that content. And it is like a very enjoyable thing.
And people can do that on their own time now. People
Yes.
can make their own pornography now without having to make it a job and can show it to people and have a viewer and a fandom and an interaction with their performative sexuality on their own terms.
Yeah.
OnlyFans and like just social media have democratized pornography.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. I also love because at the end of the day, you are now an autonomous creator. You get to take the power back, essentially. You get to say, this is what I'm creating. This is how I'm creating it. This is who I'm collaborating with. This is the way that I want to film it. Like, you get to take back, I guess, your sexual liberties and freedoms when it comes to it. You can play whatever kink and fetish you want to lean into. There's a lot of power there that I guess we'll get deeper into it, but I think a lot of the online platforms have afforded creators like OnlyFans and Just for Fans because, I think before you were always at the mercy of like either a porn studio or you were at the mercy of, I don't know, clients that you're meeting on the street. If, say, people were, I don't know, working at like a brothel or they were, walking the streets, something along those lines. There's a lot less power there. I think the cool thing about OnlyFans,
power and control for yourself.
You get so
now.
much power and control.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? Like what that experience has been for you?
That's been incredible. I mean, like coming out of the theater world of things. I liked doing that because I went into the music side of things because I liked having creative decisions. But as an arranger and an orchestrator, like your creative decisions are always like fourth or fifth in priority.
Yep.
So I was always maneuvering around other needs in that context. And here in both social media and in fan site porn, I just make what I feel like.
Yeah.
Which, is, I don't know, weird, wacky, on my own terms. It's nice when I make something and I'm like, I had an idea, here it is. I can show it to people without needing somebody else's approval on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, like, have you always felt comfortable in your body and comfortable with sex, or did it take a while to get there? Or like, I'm sure there are people, myself included, where I'm like, oh, I'd love to get more experimental. I'd love to try more things, but just like, don't know where to start, don't know what to do, or have any sort of like sexual trauma where you're just like, you're feeling a little bit like out of your body or dissociative. Like, have you always like just felt comfortable in your body, I guess?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I come from a Catholic background. I
Okay.
come from a very like buttoned up DC bureaucrat family. So I'm from a very like kind of like don't share very much of yourself, and the body is like not to be inhabited. It's very sinful.
Right.
So this isn't like the acceptance of self and exploration and confidence in myself is a thing I've had to build and learn how to do. It was going to be inevitable because the pull of sex and sexual exploration has always been so great that like that draw and magnetism was always going to get me to this point, but it did take a while. On the like acceptance of the body, pornography is fun and funny for me on this regard because I don't have a particular body. I have a very like neutral and unstatement of a body.
Okay.
Okay.
Which is a thing that I am actually really enjoying in the porn world because like
Tell us more about that. What, like, meaning like,
I'm not in any particular shape. My body doesn't tell any particular story.
okay.
The gays love to categorize, as we've spoken about.
Yes.
It's like you're like what your type is. It's like you're a bear, you're a muscle daddy, you're an otter, you're a twink. There's lots of different ways that the gay community says like this is who you are as a body and as a type and as a sexual entity. So I love that you find a little bit more freedom and like ambiguity, I guess.
Yeah, my body's kind of always been like, I don't know, it's a thing. It doesn't categorize well. It's there. It's not bad. It just isn't anything specific.
Yeah.
And that's kind of turned out to be a thing that I'm embracing of, actually, a lot of people are kind of in middle ground territory.
Most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a thing I can share with you. I'm kind of like you out there. I have just sort of some dude.
Yeah.
And that's an acceptance that has been lovely of I don't have to become one of the things in the category. Being uncategorized is actually kind of its own asset,
Love
its own
that.
expression.
And you draw confidence and self-esteem from that.
Yes.
I love that. That's incredible.
And on the sexual exploration side, like, again, I've always been a very sexual person. I've always been a very exploratory person, but I also had a lot of shame, self-consciousness about
Catholic
that.
guilt.
Catholic
yeah.
guilt.
Yeah.
Do you mean from an early age you were exploring your body, or like in what?
I have always been exploring the connectivity of sex with other people, both for it's a way of interacting and getting to know somebody else, and it's also an exchange of a lot of things. Probably from my earlier experiences, sex was very much an exchange of validation and of about being seen. Yeah,
Connection is a good enough word, I think.
yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
But I come in contact with some like radical queer subcultures in my mid-20s that are very spiritual, very lovely hippy-dippy crowds about the body.
Like the Radical Fairies?
Exactly, the Radical Fairies. That is
Yes.
precisely who I mean.
Do you know what the Radical Fairies are?
I don't.
You probably have a better description of it because you've engaged with them. I
I'm
just
sort
know
of
them
struggling to
peripherally.
describe it right now.
Hippie, like, I think that's a way, like, very like free thinking, sexually free, spiritually free community of gay men that like gather in the woods and go camping and do drugs. It's kind of like gay Burning Man in the woods.
A little
but
bit. It's
not
kind of like,
always in the woods.
It's got a pagan spiritualism
yes,
arm to it as well.
What's it called?
The Radical Fairies.
Radical Fairies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is very...
Nationwide, they have chapters.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not formalized
Okay.
in any way, but
Yeah.
nevertheless, it was a group that got me a lot of values about sexuality is a part of the self, is a part of self-expression, is a thing to integrate fully into yourself and your life.
Yeah.
And, that is where I really started finding my personal sexual grounding in my mid to late 20s.
Were there books and other things that you were reading, or was it mostly like through the group?
It was
or, like,
interpersonal stuff. It was
other,
just
like-
individual people that I met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being like, how do I bring this to the surface? How do I interact with this more? There's a person I know there who is a well-known public figure who I've talked to about like, hey, I work in a very professional standards industry when I was a Broadway musician. You are on an even bigger public stage than I am. How do you integrate this queer, sex-positive, fully embodied, no hard edges person that you are, and still do your clean-cut professional thing that you do without feeling dishonest about either side of it?
What was the answer? What did he say?
I don't know what the answer was at this point, but I did take it in and
and try to find your own balance of that.
yeah. And what it ultimately was for me is that like, oh, this is going to live very publicly on the surface.
Yes.
I think I'm better off not trying to draw a divide, not trying to keep anything under the
Yeah.
surface.
It's tricky because I even with this podcast, I think about it often, and I've had some friends who have said it. Like, we talk pretty vulnerably about a lot of stuff. We're explicit about a lot of things. Certainly not the same as sex work, but it's like in the same vein that like we're showing a side of ourselves to the public indefinitely, and evergreen content that will live there forever, that like, I don't know, most people wouldn't have the nerve to talk about in a public setting because we live in a puritanical society. So it's interesting. It's like the ways in which some people are able to toe that line of being like, okay, I can have this thing about my life that's private, but I can also be honest about it and make it public as well, but still live a life, I don't know, like still live a public life that isn't rooted in the quote unquote hedonism that I'm engaging with on the side.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I kind of got to be all of it at one time. And I've
Yeah.
decided that like, cool, I guess we're going to try and make that be useful. I'm going
Yeah.
to try and be all of that as publicly as possible.
Yeah.
With as much explanation of what it is as I can.
The explanation. I was looking at your Instagram, and I loved. There was one that I sent you.
was it about public sex? It was
There's
recent.
a lot
yeah.
of them about public sex.
It was
Damn,
a
okay.
recent one about you were at an event outside.
You ran into your buddy.
and you ran into your
and
buddy.
You
and
did the what was it? The Castro handshake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that because, and I told Drew, I was like, I love how casually he is talking about something that we have been, again, coming from the sex educator background and like our puritanical society that refuses to even say the word sex, or barely any adults can even talk about it, in any way. I love how like casually you talked about it, how in depth you went into it, and just like, and it's just like a conversation, which is what all of it should be anyways, but we're just conditioned to like either be ashamed or be told that like this isn't what, we don't talk about this in public settings, or we don't talk like this, inappropriate to talk about.
I'll summarize what that video was, because whoever's listening
please do.
certainly probably has not seen that yet. I was talking about me and a friend who ran into each other at a queer festival that allowed for sexuality in public spaces.
Like a Folsom or
More of a like camping in the woods kind of thing.
Got it.
So like
the woods.
Yeah.
Got it.
Removed from actual public space, but in the publicness of the, hundreds or thousands of people who were at this event. And he and I have not seen each other for a few years, ran into each other in the middle of the road. And, like as part of our greeting to each other, got on our knees for each other and said hello in the traditional gay fashion.
Which I also love. Like when we've gone to Fire Island and I've talked to our friends and they're just like, and I just walked by this guy and gave him a blowjob and we went on our way. I was like,
dreams.
I love that.
Amazing.
You're allowed to just connect with people with that a level of immediacy and that much intimacy dropped into with knowing almost nothing.
Yeah.
Or going from zero to that immediately. The question that I was posing in that TikTok and that reel that you were mentioning is, cool, when this friend and I are having a sexual act in the middle of the road with 30 people around doing non-sexual things, talking, hanging out, walking by, where's the line of this is a celebratory act that by doing this so casually in public and so intimately, it is freeing for other people to see that. It is inspiring for other people to see that. And how long does it go on before it becomes, all right, now we're kind of like hogging the area and now we're kind of doing a show and drawing attention. There is a point where it transitions.
Yeah, I totally hear that. You gave us the setup of what was going on, that it's already a consensual space. It's like a very queer, sexual, open space. It's not like you run the risk of someone who's not already involved in that big, very open, queer, sexual community to walk in and witness it. So like everyone that's already there has already signed up to the contract of that, essentially like the public contract of that queer space. Yeah. That like anything goes and it's all good. But you're right. It's like, at what point do we say like, okay, now maybe like people want to move on with their day?
It can still be consensual to the entire space and the community around it while being either selfish or annoying.
Yes.
Those are separate.
Sure.
Those are separate negative sliders that exist.
But you're right. Like how liberating that you get to experience that. Think of how many people will go an entire lifetime and never experience anything like that because sex is still so wrapped up in shame. And that is liberating. That's freeing to be like, oh, I can do this in a space and I can enjoy it and I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm not going to be hurting anybody. No one's hurting me. This is consensual and I get to explore this area of my sexuality.
I was just going to ask how has your life changed for the positive since doing more sex work or being more open and public about it?
Oh gosh, I mean, like the freedom of I just am going to do things and I'm going to say things and I'm going to feel things. Yeah. I'm going to wear my heart on my sleeve about this. I'm going to be really open about both my queer kinky self and all of the like weird extensions of that mean that I'm not self-conscious about much of anything anymore. I'm really like comfortable putting stuff out there. I'm comfortable connecting with people. I'm comfortable being seen in a variety of settings. I'm comfortable having weird, unexplained feelings within myself and having to wrestle with them.
Ooh, let's go there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Could you give us an example of a time that something uncomfortable came up and how you navigated through it?
In this past year, I've had a lot of butthole surgery.
Okay.
Yes, that was going to be a topic of conversation. Let's open it up. Let's go.
It has been really unpleasant and really unfun, and I am all healed and everything is working again at the full impact of how I like to do it as about a month ago, which is great.
Excellent.
Can you tell us what happened, how you got there, and the road to recovery?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like 20 years ago, I had a bad injury during sex because I didn't speak up when I was uncomfortable and got an unfortunate tear that took a while to heal and never really healed properly. And over 20 years in the meantime of also using it for a lot of things, that has degraded to the point that it needed medical attention. And those surgeries, for entirely understandable reasons, all came with their own complications. So I had a whole bunch of them.
Ooh. How many surgeries in total did you have to have?
4.
4.
March, April, May, and June. Each of them for their own individual problem that was not foreseeable from the previous one.
Oh my God.
I was hardly walking for like 3 months.
Can you tell us what was it? Was it a fissure? Was it just
It was a
multiple
little bit of
complications
everything.
along with the fissure?
The original work to be done was related to removing hemorrhoids and sewing up a fissure, which is a tear. That resulted in, it turns out that my either have hypertrophic or keloid scarring, which is when your scars grow back at like really overinflated collagen state.
Wow.
So they had to remove that. And those processes caused a fistula, which is like a little extra tunnel from the inside of your body to the surface, which then had to be gradually tightened until it reached the surface on its own and then kind of like tunneled out in the first surgery. It was unpleasant. It was pleasant.
Did you have a colostomy bag? Like
I did not.
To get through this? Oh my
No.
God.
Oh my God.
No, it was really, really unfun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the reason I get into this right now is that talking about like finding comfort with uncomfortable feelings is that like I felt locked out of my body. I felt locked out of my sex. I felt frumpy. I felt like I couldn't move very well. Like the part of the healing process means that I was constantly in bandages and had like, various kinds of fluid production that my body is doing. I was feeling really pathetic and unsexy.
Okay.
And as I started to get a little bit of movement again and was filming again, because, my job in my life is filming porn, I have to start doing that in some capacity while I'm still not at my full self.
Yeah.
I found myself exploring these situations that were about being pathetic in sex.
Wow.
I like a lot of role play. I like a lot of context in my sexual situations. And this turned into like, okay, who can I be in a sexual situation that isn't at their best? Who is the weak person in the relationship? Wow. I shot several scenes, one of which I released yesterday with this guy, Tate Hoskins, who is this.
See the cowboy?
He's the cowboy.
Yeah, I sent that to you. Yeah.
The shoe.
The boot and these like flipping off the
Exactly.
cam. Yeah.
He's this very beautiful mid-20s, like confident, like sweet jockey twunk boy.
Yeah.
And he and I were at a like group shoot for 4 days, and we did a lot of scenes together where he ended up being the bully and I ended up being kind of the wimp figure. And that was like one of them, he swirlied me, like grabbed my head, shoved it in the toilet, and flushed the water.
Oh, wow.
Which is not a thing I have ever liked before. Wow. It's not a thing I've ever wanted. And I'm not sure I want it right now, but that day, in that moment, I was like, oh, your strength and confidence and power is a thing I really want to explore while I feel kind of weak. And what this did was it made me feel legitimate in my weakness. I felt like I was allowed to be there in spite of the fact that I was not complete.
Well, it was like taking ownership of it too, of like, it's not just like an internal feeling now. It's like, I feel this way. I don't like that I feel this way, but rather than like pushing it down and ignoring it, I'm going to actually like amplify it and film it.
Let's
and,
lean in.
And like, go for it. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's incredible.
Now that I'm back feeling like great and confident and powerful again, a thing that I've come back with is this understanding of the pathetic role, which like is coming up a lot right now in the cuckolding scenario.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Do you know what cuckolding is?
I do, but some of our
I have such a side note
and
about this.
listeners may
Okay, wait.
not. Okay, let's explain what cuckolding is.
Dive in. Yeah, cuckolding.
Cuckolding. This is a 3-person scenario where 2 people are in some sort of a relationship, and a third person comes in and has sex with one of the people in the relationship, excluding the third person. And part of this dynamic is the feeling of exclusion or the feeling of loss that the third person is having. It is hot and powerful for the partner who is having sex to be better or hotter or to be like on the pedestal above the excluded partner. It is hot for the excluded partner to feel like somebody is like tromped into their territory, or sometimes even the feeling of like, oh no, I'm losing my partner to somebody who's hotter and better than me, and I'm getting off on that feeling.
Yeah.
And this is not a scenario I've typically been drawn to. Wait,
But it's very popular.
Yeah, I have a side note. I've recently learned that the heterosexual kink dynamic, there is a similar but differently named and differently toned scenario, which is the hot wife scenario. It's similar to cuckolding in that it's 2 people and an exterior in a relationship and an exterior person. However, outside person comes into the relationship and has sex with one of the partners, and the other partner is excited about it. The other partner is going, this is amazing. My partner who is getting fucked by somebody other than me is so hot. They're so wonderful. And I want to celebrate that by bringing in other people to share them.
I love it. It's like the opposite of cuckolding. Yeah, kind of,
And we don't have this term in queer culture because it's just what we do anyway.
Yeah.
We're all like, my husband's so hot. Come fuck them.
Yeah.
I'll watch. I don't even have to be there.
Yeah.
Just tell me about it. Or don't.
God.
Okay, I want you to finish. I want you to finish.
How many times?
Because
Thank
it's so
you.
important for everyone to finish.
Cuckolding, coming from a place of patheticness, coming back to exploring new things, I have an eye into the cuckolding scenario in a way that I didn't before.
Yeah.
And I am currently enjoying exploring it as the external partner, which is really easy for me to do because I'm a well-known sexual performer.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people can objectify me as a potential third person that I can just step in out of the internet into their lives
And simply
fuck
play
their
this
husband
role.
and go home.
Yeah.
And but I understand what the excluded partner wants about it now. So I know how to lean in and how to tease and how to deny.
Yeah.
In a way that feels not just like being mean, but like understanding the threads and how to pull and make this a satisfying 3-person uneven dynamic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, actually, to throw it back to Judson and Dads and Daddies is like they have a lot of conversations about, of course, primarily so much of the podcast is rooted in sex positivity, but there's a lot of conversations about the role play of dad. So many different dynamics. This goes for the gay world and for the straight world. And we can talk about it because so many people don't want to talk about it, but dear God, it's everywhere. So many people are engaging in these role plays. But one of the things that Judson talks about is like the idea of learning, once you learn how to play the like sub role, you know what you like being the sub of that role. And then therefore you know how to then play the dom role because you know how to get the sub off because you have been the sub before or vice versa, which I think is what you're saying essentially here is that like you have been the pathetic. You've played the pathetic role and you know what that feels like and you know what it felt like to get that off. So you know what buttons to push if you're playing the alternate role.
Yeah.
How fascinating.
You should teach a class.
That's, I guess, kind of what my Instagram is most of the time.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable.
I could reach more people that way than I could by teaching a class.
Yeah.
That's true.
True.
I mean, I wish we lived in a society that allowed people to explore their sexuality. Of course, within like a safe, consensual confines. You know, Dan Savage talks a lot about this as well. And I remember the first time I ever heard anybody talk about role play was on a Savage Lovecast episode. And it was something that I was like, oh my God, that's so risque. I can't believe anyone would do that. But the way that he described it was so fascinating because it really was just a celebration of like a kink and a fetish. So I love that like out of this severe injury that you had, you were able to then therefore explore a whole nother avenue of your kinks and fetishes. That's so cool. Yeah. Has that happened in any other avenue when it comes to kinks and fetishes? Like, has there been something that has forced you to pivot into a new kink that you're like, new fetish unlocked?
Well, I've discovered a lot of new kinks just by like trying them out on camera and being like, oh, I like this one.
Yeah.
Or like just feet in general is a really common fetish that I just have never connected with. But because it's so common and it's really easy to make content for that, I've made a lot of foot-based content.
Okay.
But now after 5 years of like occasionally making foot-based content, I'm like, oh, I kind of get what's hot about this. I kind of appreciate this on my own now.
Okay.
Like this is a taste that I have acquired in a way that I didn't know that I could acquire it.
Yeah.
I thought I had to be hardwired for this, and it turns out I can just like slowly build that from the ground up.
Wow.
Now that we're on this topic, let's dive into your question that I want to circle back with.
Yeah. I love that. So you and I have had so many conversations about this of just like, why is it, or like, what are your opinions on why sex is so much more accepted and talked about and a more, I guess, open forum in the gay community than it is in the straight community?
It's a great question.
Like the idea of like you walking up to someone at a festival and like, and that's your intro. Like I think about like if I ran into a friend I hadn't seen and he just ate me out, I'd be like, great, yeah, but like what?
How have you been?
How's it going?
I mean, you could have that conversation while doing that. I mean, it's a little tricky because one of you has a mouth in operation while trying to talk.
A
but
mouthful.
That's
but
kind
like,
of its own
but
fun
just, but like
mouth in
that
operation.
scenario just doesn't. That's not a.
I think part of why this happens is like queer people have already had to break a certain set of like social structures just to get to a place of self-acceptance in the first place, that it then becomes really easy to break other ones.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I think it's like gay sex, sodomy in general has already been sinified, if that's even a word. We've been told our whole entire lives that like this is disgusting, it's gross, it's awful, you can't engage with it. So even I remember the first time I looked at gay porn when I was a kid, I remember the excitement of being like, this is off limits. I should not be looking at this. This is so taboo. I cannot believe I'm looking at gay porn. We did it was like the most basic gay porn of just like a dude giving a guy a blowjob.
But it was 100%.
It was on 100%
gayporn.com.
We'll attach the link for those that don't know that reference. But so like once you accept that we are like, okay, well, fine, fuck it. I guess I'm gay and I'm just going to be watching gay porn. You're like, oh, well, like what else is there? Like, let's explore a little bit more. And because it's been, we're told it's off limits.
Even not in a sexual context, like, oh, I'm going to have to be the one at the office party or at homecoming who has a same gender partner with them. And I will have had to have cleared that with somebody already. I've already had to break that social, even non-sexual standard in some area.
Yeah.
It's really much easier for me to have to do it again somewhere else. I don't think this is exclusive to queer people. I think it's like exclusive.
Yeah.
I think it's an experience people have in a bunch of different, oh, I don't fit the standard experience.
Yeah.
But, you know, you break it a couple of times and you're like, oh, I have a lot more freedom than I thought I did.
Yeah, this is something that when it comes to the heterosexual community, there are large communities of people who are exploring their sexuality in this way. But you're right, it's not as talked about. It's not as common.
Not only not talked about, I remember I have just been chit-chatting with people about like open relationships and just like this. And it's so funny how immediately defensive and shut down straight people get about, no, well, those don't work. You can't, those never work. You're not doing that, right? And I'm like, it's so immediately polarizing for so many people versus like many queer people are having at least able to have conversations, if not engaging in open relationships, polyamory. Like it's just it's a very interesting, split.
There's a thing I'm going to muddle through this a little bit because I don't have a preformed answer on this, but I am interested in my work. I'm recently exploring bisexuality. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that's come off of like, I'm doing so much sex all of the time that just my interest in other people is just starting to become based on I'm interested in connecting and less about particular features. So like cis women are now becoming functional and attractive partners to me. A thing that I'm hoping to be able to do with that is offer to cis women some of the experiences of queer male sex that I have.
Wow.
I make those videos on Instagram about cruising and other like gay group public things, and there are a lot of women who write on them like, I wish there was a version of this for women, that like I wish that there was a way that cruising in the park was a safe experience that I could take part in, because the experience of it sounds really fun, but like the practicalities of it make it impossible.
And let's give a quick definition of cruising for our listeners who don't know.
Cruising is typically in a public space, being able to look at somebody and often with wordlessly or with little communication exchanged, go from, cool, I think you're attractive and hot, to having some kind of a sexual encounter. This might be something you do in, for example, a secluded part of a park where people know is a cruising area. You might just show up and with the right combination of raised eyebrows and physical gestures, be able to have sex with somebody who you know nothing about and haven't spoken to, and then go on your way.
Yeah, it's a non-communicative way of picking somebody up, a partner for sex, generally. Yeah. But it was rooted in the closetedness of the queer community back in the day. So there's actually, Langston Hughes wrote about it a lot, actually, and what it was like to be a gay man. He has a whole poem about cruising, which is actually pretty incredible. But it was rooted in men could only meet other men that were interested in men just walking down the street in day-to-day scenarios, like at the office, at the park, at the blah, blah, blah. And it was like a lingering eye contact kind of thing that was like, oh, you're into me and I'm into you, even though they both have wives. And this is like, the 50s, the 40s,
think
the
of
50s,
Fire Island.
60s, Fire Island. Yeah, exactly. So I think it initially was a thing that was the only way that men could find sex with other men. It was at a urinal in a bathroom at the train station, and then they'd go into the stall or something like that. Now, with the advent of apps and being able to get on the phone and find sex like that so quickly and easily, cruising has become fetishized, I think. It still exists, and it's in like an actual functional way, but it's, for a lot of people, it's now a kink and a fetish. Cruising is a kink and a fetish. It's being like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the park, and like, I know that specific dark part of the park where gay men are going to be having sex.
Right.
And I know if I go there, I can have like a really interesting experience.
Yeah.
So it's like because we don't need cruising anymore because you can just get on your phone, but it's like
Right.
a kink fetish now. Yeah.
I do love the idea, though, of giving cis women that experience. I think you have something there that's very unique.
Safety is the
and
key word.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm hoping to be able to do, because it's one thing that I know that I can't offer a cruising experience. I can't create that. What I can do is I'm a versatile gay man. I take it up the butt, to put it bluntly.
Wait, that's why you need
Oh yeah, we did
the
talk about the butt
surgeries.
surgery.
No, it's all becoming clear now.
So I take it up the ass. But with the thing that I can offer is there's pegging contexts, but I think there's a lot of pegging contexts for women that are about like the submission of the receptive partner, about the sissification of the receptive partner. I see a lot of this in pornography, that it's about the domination of the receiver and the feminizing.
Yeah.
And I would love to be able to offer no, I actually want you to engage with me as the bottom in my masculinity, in my strength.
Yeah.
I want to offer, because as like gay men fucking, the bottom is not weak. The bottom is not feminized. I would like to be able to offer that kind of interplay back.
Yeah.
And to allow her to explore both domination and submission and masculinity and femininity within her role in that place.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to do that on
not-
camera. That'll be interesting to do.
not
I don't know how to
receive-
do
yeah.
it yet.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's
love
what you're
that.
here. You're here to explore it and like dip in and try it and try new things.
Yeah.
I love that though. I'm with you. I genuinely wish there was a safer way for women to explore these things without the threat of inevitable violence from many men. So it's like, cruising is actually there is a very dangerous history with cruising as well. But for the most part now, it's generally safe, but it's men with men. And like a woman walking into a scenario like that would be I can only imagine would feel so threatening and scary and dangerous.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't know, men
Savages.
are savages.
Sorry, but it's true. What advice would you give to people that would like to be more exploratory of their sexuality and broaden their sexual horizons?
I'm going to start with one answer that's in my territory, but just people who want to be exploratory about their exhibitionism. Is we're in a beautiful era right now that you are able to publish things on your own terms. And it is a great time for having a Blue Sky, for having a Reddit, for having a social media profile on a place that allows for explicit content where you can show only what you want to.
An alt, shall we say?
An alt.
An alt profile.
For those who do not know, an alt profile is a page for your sexual alter ego on a social media platform where you share pictures of yourself, show pictures of your body, show pictures of you with a partner. You may blur your face. You may exclude it entirely. You may cover it with a mask. You may, you do things on your own terms.
A really safe way.
Yeah.
To do it.
You never have to publish anything.
Hold
that
on to
you,
your anonymity.
Yeah. You don't want to show. Yeah. And virginity, and for the broad category of people exploring stuff, virginity isn't real. There's no like, oh, I did a thing and now I've done the thing forever and it means I'm different. No. You were not different before and after you ate potato chips for the first time. It's the same thing for like licking somebody's armpit.
That's true.
Just go for it.
this.
You're
I
not
love this.
stained forever by doing
I really love
something.
that. I love that as a.
That's beautiful.
That's great. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That's a button. But I have one more question that I'm dying to ask. I put it in the questions. It's something that I struggle with often. I am very sex positive. I engage a lot with my sexual side. I dabble on the, not dabble, I spend a lot of time on the apps. I waste a lot of time on the apps. And yeah, I've also dabbled in my, my fair share of cruising culture as well. Something that I struggle with when I get into relationships is overall the general category of intimacy. Intimacy when it comes to like relationship and love intimacy, because I think from a young age, I've always tied sex to porn. That was my understanding. That was my sex education. My parents gave me a Penthouse magazine and they were like, this is sex. So I've always had a very pornographic understanding of what sex is. And for me, when it comes to, I guess, masturbation and porn watching, it's always about the novelty of clicking a button, having something new. And so, and it's the same thing with sexual one-offs, whether it's with someone who's anonymous or I have like a general fuck buddy or something like that. It's always just like, okay, cool, let's hit the button and then on to the next. So I struggle with sexual intimacy when it comes to long-term relationships. It's something that's always been an issue for me and I'm still working on. How do you find that as a sex worker and as a porn content creator that it has skewed your idea of intimacy in that way? How do you feel about it? I don't know. I just want to talk about intimacy and porn and sex.
I mean, I think I'm a weird case here. Is that like part of the reason that I make pornography and do sex work and that I'm a good fit for it is that I either have the ability or I'm very willing to get very intimate knowing very little. I am willing to be vulnerable with my partners. I'm willing to like share a lot of the self and not question it, which is can be great for somebody who is willing to do that with me and is willing to take the plunge and go, cool, we're gonna have some real feelings right now. Yeah. In spite of not knowing anything. Or it can be disarming for somebody who's like, I'm sorry, I don't do this this feelings, intimacy, vulnerability thing. Okay. But my feeling about it is like you gotta take the leap. You gotta be the person who leads that interaction. Figure out how to share something real with a person. And I don't know, be risky about that. Like be vulnerable, be messy and present. Like, I don't know, like I'm going to compare to art here for a second of like, there's a lot of art that you look at, television shows, plays, music, that you're like, wow, this is like kind of perfectly constructed, but there's kind of no heart in it. Yeah. And you ultimately often want something that's a little messier, that's a little imperfect, but did something that it cared about. Yeah. Be something be willing to be a little bit messy, but show something real to somebody. Okay. The next layer of it is like romantic intimacy. Like I think part of me is that I lose the intimate sexual connection with my partner because I'm used to just clicking on the button for the next porn video. Do you face that at all with your partner? Yeah. Okay. And how do you deal with it? It's searching. It's searching for the next door, for the reinvestment of where to make more connection. Okay. Like, obviously in this last year, my partner and I have had a lot of intimacy difficulty because I have not been sexually available. Yeah. Even though I was only like injured on one side of my versatility, it like the pain and awkwardness meant that I really didn't want to top, except for when I was, working, and my partner had a lot of fear of injuring me, and I was very emotionally shut down, so we couldn't have a lot of emotional intimacy. Yeah. So getting back right now has been all right, we're both fully here. We both feel safe and comfortable about this, but where is the door? Yeah. And I found it last week. It was...
Was it a back door?
Yeah, it's mine. But the thing that worked out about it was like, I'm very much getting into my dominant bottom era. Okay. Which was...
a bossy bottom, shall we say?
Not even boss, not so much bossy. Okay. It's gentle, instructory, complimentary, but like one of the challenges that we've had coming out of this is Teo, you don't know where I'm safe. You don't know, you feel like you're walking into a place where something could break at any moment. And that's fair. I was in a very breakable state for a year. So I got to take the lead here, and I got to focus this on, cool, I'm going to talk you through where you're going to be physically, emotionally. I'm going to tell you what your arc is, and you're going to trust me and let me move you through this.
This is your, by the way, cis woman. That's it right there.
That's what I kind of want it to be.
That's what it is. Because what you're saying right now is very much, as a straight woman, when you have to always be on the receiving end, there is that, like, there's no mind reading.
Yeah.
But you have, and women are specifically not taught to, like, speak up or be like, this is okay, this is not. Like, I think this is like, I'm just hearing you talking, being like, oh yeah, I could say it, I could do that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the directions of where I think we're going to go and offer you input on that.
Yeah.
Guide the emotional experience, guide the physical experience, allow you feedback, but help, direct what's happening.
Be in control as the receiver rather than the, yeah. Love
to
that.
kind of like teach the way back through this interaction.
That's beautiful.
Love that.
And that requires deep intimacy and deep connection and trust.
Yeah, it's very much me saying, like, Teo, I need you to trust me on this. Follow my words. Speak up for your needs, but let me drive.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Jonah, that was great.
This was
such a great chat.
Thank you for having me.
I could ask a million more
so
questions.
many more. We'll have you back on for a part 2.
All right.
But
Let's do, we are trying to do muddy moments now.
You mentioned this, and I had a
muddy
story that came
moments,
right to
and we
mind.
want you to
Oh, love
share
this.
an embarrassing or funny story that will get our viewers giggling and normalize
anything.
awkward, embarrassing moments in life that happen every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
So go, take it away.
I'm going to talk about an awkward and embarrassing moment that happens in sexual context.
Yeah,
because
go,
that's
go,
the
go,
theme
go,
of
go.
the episode.
Excited.
That same event that I was at where I ran into my friend, we blew each other in the middle of the road.
Okay.
I was in the cruisy part of the space late at night. Wait, I want to get back a step. Somewhere else in this gathering, I found a clown nose on the ground that I put on one night and went, oh, this is giving me permission for mischief, and I also think I look really hot in this.
Okay.
So I've been wearing this clown nose around for a couple of days, and I am wearing all white. I am wearing my white sneakers. I'm wearing white work pants that have faggot sprayed down the leg in rainbow spray paint.
Great.
And I am out in the cruisy part of the woods. I am on a number of things, but in particular, some hallucinogens.
Okay.
And I do not know which way is down. I am barely able to stay upright, but I am in the cruisy fucking area.
Okay.
And I am waiting for my turn with this handsome man. And I bend him over and I get going at things. And then after maybe a minute and a half, he suddenly runs off very abruptly and apologizes a little bit. And I realize that my hand is kind of chunky. And his preparations for bottoming did not hold together in possibly the most catastrophic way that they have for me at any point.
Oh my God.
But I'm tripping balls, and I do not have a sense of smell.
Because you have a clown nose on?
I also have a clown nose on, but I cannot smell anything, so I don't know how bad this is. I cannot see anything because I'm in the dark and I haven't brought my light with me. My pants are around my ankles.
Your white pants.
My white pants are around my ankles. I don't know what I've touched yet. I don't know if my right hand is safe. I think it is. I don't know if I touched my face in trying to smell anything. And I know that I'm like 1,000 feet from an outdoor shower. And I keep trying to get myself to like grab the pants with my one clean, hopefully clean right hand and start that walk. And then I get hit with the absurdity and the futility of the situation, and I stop for a moment. And then I try and walk, and I realize I don't know which way gravity is.
Oh my God.
So I am stumbling uphill through a wet, dewy field in the dark under the moonlight, stopping every 5 feet to question all of existence. I'm like, God, this is very funny. This is very good comedy.
That is very good. You literally got into the mud.
Yeah.
That's-
And I had
Dug
to,
into the mud there.
That's a muddy moment.
I
muddy
had to get
moment.
up the hill, the 1,000 feet to the outdoor shower, get out of all of my clothes one-handed, get showered in what it turns out was like absolutely frigid water that I was,
Oh my God.
thank God, tripping too hard to have any sense of temperature, so I was fine, but had no way of ascertaining, did I get everything? are my pants safe to put back on? I had to humbly explain through difficulty to a stranger what had happened and asked for help ascertaining.
Oh my God.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm on a healthy dose of acid, and could you tell me if my pants are covered in someone else's shit?
Oop. And they very generously were like, oh, of course I can. I'm going to do my best to ascertain that myself.
Oh my God.
And end of the story is I got out of it totally clean.
Unscathed.
What
a gift.
And all I wish is that I could
Reward.
tell that bottom who I realized while he ran off, he realized what happened before I did, that this happens. It's a part of life. It's a part
Shit
about
happens.
sex. Shit happens. Yes, it's a little embarrassing, and that was, a legendarily catastrophic failure of the preparations. But that occurs, and we got through it, and it was ultimately pathetic. So comically bad, so comically unfortunate that it is funny.
On both sides.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Gold.
If you ever hear this, buddy, you're fine. We're good.
I'm sending that bottom so much love.
Yeah.
Oh, honey. It's okay. You're going to get through it. Wow.
I love that.
Oh my
This
God,
was
Jonah, that was
an
dynamite.
unbelievable conversation. Where can our listeners find you?
I am Showoff Jonah everywhere that they will let me be. Insta, Blue Sky, TikTok, Reddit, OnlyFans, etc. All the places.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was the best.
And dynamite
Love this.
conversation.
Love this.
Everyone, we encourage you to go explore your sexual side in a
Go.
safe way that you feel comfortable with.
Yes.
Go.
Have
enjoy.
fun.
Let us know how it
Have
goes.
fun. Enjoy your sexuality. We have human bodies for a reason.
Yeah.
Go have fun. All right, we love you.
Love you.
Thanks for listening,
Bye.
following. Please subscribe.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.